Oh yeah, baby. It's D-Day. Well, today is D-Day, and of course by D-Day I mean Dyno Day. The day that all car guys know about after you finish a build. Lots of stress. Is all that hard work going to pay off? You're going to strap your vehicle down to a rolling road, see if it holds together, see how much power it puts down. Today is finally that day for my LS3 T56 Magnum swapped 1969 Camaro. I finished the LS3 swap probably about a year ago, and I basically just drove it around last summer, never really got a chance to put it on the dyno. Had an opening today to get it on the dyno, so I'm taking advantage of it. And the reason I'm trailering it, I think this is the first time this car has been on the trailer since I purchased it back in early 2021, I think, or early 2022. The reason I'm trailering it and not just driving it, I put almost 600 miles on it last year, is because I just finished up that QA1 suspension swap. I just dialed in the ride height like 2 days ago and have like 2 miles on it. And even though it drove perfectly fine in those 2 miles, I'm just not comfortable enough yet that I've shaken any sort of bugs or gremlins loose yet that, you know, to take it on an hour and a half each way trip. So just to make sure I don't miss the appointment, hopefully don't have any problems, loaded up on the trailer, hooked up the truck, and you know, we're on our way down. The reason I didn't get a chance to put any more miles on it is, for all of those of you guys who are following the Cobra series, this was the appointment that I made to have the Cobra put on the dyno. I actually had that car on the dyno back in March of this year, and I had to kind of take it back and recoup because it was blowing smoke or burning oil on the dyno. So I ended up pulling the motor and replacing a valve guide and 32 valve seals and 1 new valve, and I thought that that had fixed it. But last night, just to make sure that it was fixed, I set up a camera and did some test runs under load, and what do you know, that car is still burning oil. So I don't really know what's going on with it right now, but I've wanted to get the Camaro tuned and didn't want to waste this appointment, so I said, hey, can we switch it up? Will you tune my Holley Terminator LS swap Camaro? And he said, sure, bring it down. So we're on our way. It was supposed to be a great sunny day, but of course, as I'm talking to you now, it is starting to pour rain. So so much for the Camaro that I just washed and spent an hour cleaning the other day. It's now going to be filthy, so that's awesome. Great. But yeah, let's I don't know, hustle through this rain, get down to the dyno appointment, and get this thing on the rollers. some dyno days, you lose some dyno days, and boys, I can say we won this one. Woo! I apologize, guys, I couldn't really narrate too much during the dyno session, but I think you guys know what's going on there. Basically, got the car there, strapped it up. Mike from Turbo Mike Tuning is the one who did the tune, so if any of you guys are looking for a dyno tune in the central Massachusetts area, Mike does everything from LS swap stuff to Fords to Mopars to anything, basically. He was messing with his side-by-side, which had a Haltech ECU that he put on there. So, guy knows his stuff. Pulled it right on the dyno, made some adjustments to the base Holly tune, kind of told him what I had done so far, just, you know, some idle airflow stuff just to get the car to run and cruise, basically all last summer. And then from there, he went right into tuning the car. He actually loaded up the dyno and put it, you know, in 4th gear. And I think you guys saw in the B-roll footage, the headers were actually glowing at one point, so that was kind of sweet. Car sounded awesome. I've never heard it from the outside yet, so man, the thing sounds rowdy. But yeah, after we got the bass dialed in, made a few pulls. Car put down 480 right off the rip with like no timing in it, and Mike was really surprised to see that. He said that every LS3 he's ever done usually puts down between 460 and 470 on that dyno, which is a dyno jet, which if I remember correctly usually reads lower than like a Mustang dyno. So kind of like a heartbreaker dyno. So did like 480 or 489, I can't remember, right off the rip. And we basically just kept adding timing every pull until we got to 513 horsepower, added like another degree of timing, did another pull, and it gained no power. So typically that's where you know where your timing wants to be, is when you keep adding it and the power stays the same or goes down. That's usually your ideal timing. I think we ended up around 27 degrees timing at 6,600 or 6,800 RPM where we had the limiter. Car had 70 pounds of oil pressure at, I think, 6,800 RPM. Didn't get hotter than 190 or 195 with the fan on. Just went perfect. Mike was really happy. I was really happy. So all the hard work, all the hours and blood and sweat and beers that I put into this car, I finally have it dyno tuned. I know what it puts down. 513 to the tire on a heartbreaker dyno. 460 something. I have to get the dyno sheet. I don't actually have it, or look back at the video, but yeah, I don't even really care about dyno numbers in this car. It's of course the ones you don't care about that do awesome, but over the moon about this, you guys. The car is absolutely ripping and I'm fired up about it. It's about 7 o'clock at night right now, and I got a little bit of a drive home, so I think it'll probably be tomorrow before we get to go for a rip, but rest assured we will do that, and cannot wait to roast some gears in this thing. We have got a ripper on our hands, fellas. I ain't built for this weather, boys. It is like 95 degrees. Look at that. Glistening. Yeah, it's like 95 degrees outside, 100% humidity here in New Hampshire. The whole country is going through a heat wave. I tried to work outside for a little bit on the Lightning, which you'll see in a separate video, and some other stuff, which you'll see in another video for another vehicle. but I'm dying out there. It's 81 degrees and humid in the garage. You can hear the dehumidifier trying to keep up with it here, but hey, it's better than outside. Anyways, it has been like 9 days. It's Wednesday of the next week since we dynoed the Camaro, which was a massive success. This thing put down 513, I think, horsepower and like 430 foot-pounds of torque on a heartbreak dyno jet. It's the highest horsepower LS3, you know, bolt-on LS3 basically, that Turbo Mike has ever seen. I don't know, we got a good one here. We got a good LS3, could not have asked for it to go better. She's gonna be Ripper. But yeah, it is a little bit too hot for me to want to go out for a drive right now. And I've got some stuff I'd like to do before I head to my buddies to finally get that alignment for the QA1 suspension and hopefully get the AC charged to give me some relief here in this coming and continuing heat wave. And that is right down here. Let me get a light. One thing that has always bothered me about this car is this. I'm going to try and show you both at the same time. Let's see if the wide angle will do it. See this? See if the wheel's moving at all? Absolutely nothing happening at the tire. But at the wheel, we got like 30, 40 degrees of play, maybe more. And I have determined that to be, you guessed it, the steering box. The steering shaft moves. There's no play in any of the, you know, components below the pitman arm because they're all brand new. The only thing that's left is this steering box. There is a part number down there. I believe it's for a 1969 Camaro. I think that S right there means Saginaw, but I have no idea if this is an original box or not. I have no idea how many miles are on it. It was in the car when I bought it, but it's clearly got some play. Some guys say you can tighten this screw. Other guys say you'll give your family 7 years of bad luck if you even look at that screw. So I started looking around and found that you can buy the quick ratio IROC, like 3rd gen IROC box, which should be, I think a bolt-in for this. After the core charge on Summit Racing, like 110 bucks. So instead of messing with that screw, I just figured let's get a newer, it's obviously a reman box. Got that ordered up, and I figured it would suck to get an alignment and then put a new box in and then have the alignment be off again. So let's unbox this box, this steering box, and see what it looks like compared to the one that's in there. Like I said, got this box from Summit. Not sponsored yet. So I had to pay for it, but I believe the manufacturer is, honestly I can't remember. I'll put it up here on the screen right now, or maybe the box will tell me right now. Information on the core charge, get your money back. Yeah, $111 once I return the core. There you go. Cardone. This is the part number. Like I said, this should be the quick ratio 3rd gen IROC box. Here we go. Ooh. Excessive common symptoms. Excessive play in steering wheel at center before wheels start turning. That's me. And here's the goods. Cool. Well, let's see if we can't compare this to the one in there and see if this is going to be a direct swap or not. Well, looks like all the old fluid leaked out. It has once again been quite a few days since I ripped this power steering pump or power steering gear out of this 1969 Camaro. And that's because, if you guessed it, parts delays. Not really delays, but I had to order some stuff. So got the pump out, no major problems there. In the process of getting it out, at some point, probably like 2 minutes ago in this video, I said something along the lines of, every part of the suspension is new, so it's gotta be the pump that's causing the play. The steering shaft moves, there's no play in any of the components below the pitman arm because they're all brand new. But the one thing that's not new is the pitman arm here. And looky what I found. Quite a bit of slop in the pitman arm ball joint, or pitman arm itself. So I figured, okay, no problem. I'll just get a new ball joint for the pitman arm. Turns out you can't do that. It's like an integrated piece or something. So got some new parts over here, one of which is a new pitman arm from Moog. So this comes with brand new ball joint right there. You can see, I guess it's like rolled over. So not a really replaceable part, but yeah. New pitman arm, washer, nut, hardware, etc. So that was one problem. Waited a few days for that. Then I was like, all right, well, let me make sure I don't need anything else while I'm waiting for that. And I took a look at my rag joint here, and a lot of those threads in there are not even really, or splines are not even really there anymore. This rag joint was kind of in rough shape. So ordered a new one of those while I was at it. Brand new rag joint from Dorman. There's the part number if you need it. So that should clean that up a little bit. And then very important here is I converted to a flare style power steering fitting. This old pump, you can see the flares in there, so it seals on this custom power steering to dash 4AN fitting for this dash 4AN power steering line that I made when I did the LS swap. Take a look at the new pump. That's an O-ring seal down there, which is why they give you these O-rings that they want you to replace. So that's not going to seal. So I did a little digging around on the internet and found these O-ring to flare conversion fittings from Borgeson, I guess. There's the part number if you need that. And I guess these things are just going to drop in there, and then O-ring seal on one side, and then flare seal on the other side. And then we should be, knock on wood, should be good to go. Hopefully this pump bolts right up. New pitman arm, new rag joint, correct fittings, and hopefully we'll have nice tight steering and basically 100% brand new suspension and steering on this thing from front to back. So yeah, let's get this pitman arm on the power steering gear here. I guess I'll get this one off and figure out how to do the core exchange on that. Get this thing in, get our lines hooked up, rag joint, and yeah, hopefully we'll have a nice finished product here. Well, good morning, everyone. And I say good morning because it is the next day. I finished the power steering box install yesterday evening / afternoon, and was about ready to start this thing, topped off the fluid, and took a step outside and realized that we are still in this heat wave, and it was about 95 degrees out. I've got the garage trying to maintain about 78 degrees. So I didn't want to open the garage door, run this thing, and have the entire garage and all my tools and workbench and cars and everything condensate. So I threw in the towel for the night, woke up bright and early this morning, threw on the same old dirty clothes that I was wearing yesterday. And now at 7:30 in the morning, it's a more reasonable 77 degrees. So I'm gonna start this thing up, see how the power steering feels, make sure we have no leaks at my flare fitting adapters or whatever those things are. Make sure the steering feels good, make sure our fluid's where it needs to be. And yeah, with any luck, we'll be able to take this thing for a drive. So let's open the door, see the outside world, and fire this thing up. Here's what came out. What's left of the old rag joint there. Came apart all in pieces, which, not that it was broken, but it's just how I ended up getting it out of the car. But all that's junk. Here's the box all disassembled, plugged up, ready to go back to Summit for my $60 core charge. Again, I don't really know. This thing, I guess it definitely had a little bit of play in it, but between this and the pitman arm, I think that was most of our steering play, because check this out. See if we can do the same thing we did before. That's going to be hard for you guys to tell, but that wheel down on the ground there is moving with just that much play. That is like 10 times better than it was before. No leaks so far. Just got some crap burning off the headers. Just doing a lot of work down there. Beautiful morning. Steering feels good. dyno tune, steering feels so much better. It does feel a little bit stiff when you first start moving the wheel. I don't know if that's normal or not. Maybe there's still air in the system. We'll drive it, but zero play. As soon as I move the wheel, we've got feedback. Also, the car drives so much better. It would always die coming to stop signs like this. Now it idles perfect. Well, we're back. It's been a little bit. Had a little bit of a moment of panic there that I think most car guys have been through, where you take your car out after you've been working on it for a little bit and you get it quarter mile down the road and then remember that you forgot to tighten the lug nuts on the front left tire. So we zipped it back to the house and thankfully they were still pretty tight, but got those all torqued to spec. Made some adjustments to my rack joint, which I think are correct. The steering feels so tight. It's definitely stiffer than it was before, but that could just be because it's a new box. I don't know. This thing sounds violent. Steering wheel doesn't return to center quite. I guess maybe we need to give it a few miles. I don't know. It doesn't return to center as well as it used to, but man, does it feel so much tighter. There's no slop, no play at all. Brand new box, brand new rack joint, brand new pitman arm. Everything torqued to spec, and a dyno tune. Oh my goodness. Holy crap. Forgot I have to put the back seat back together. Let's do a little second gear pull here. That bump at the end of that straightaway always gets me. Well, it's official. I've officially floored it in my LS3 swap 1969 Camaro, and that was incredible. This thing rips. Steering feels great. The brakes feel good enough to eject the rear seat. Quick once over, everything looks good. No leaks. LS3 was fast enough to eject the rear seat, which I still need to put back together. That's something rubbed back here. I'll have to check that out, but that was only when we were doing 65 over a big bump. Everything back here looks good. thing was loud and cruising. It sounds like NASCAR at 7,000 RPMs. Oh my goodness, I love this car. This Mercedes is like, I'm out of here. Yeah, I probably would too. This thing absolutely hauls the freaking mail. Oh, I love it. Gotta get the rest of this interior back together. This seat keeps hitting me. Sound is intoxicating. The brakes are fantastic. The steering is tight. We don't even have it aligned yet. Cruises beautifully. Getting hot though. We got to get the AC charged in this thing ASAP. Oh, you don't know how long I've been waiting to gas it in this car, and I finally just, and we weren't speed shifting or anything, but just that 2.3 at 6,500, 7,000 RPM, there is nothing better. Oh, it's awesome. All the hard work, worth it. This thing is a ripper. Whew. Well, that was a success. Just took the coldest shower of my life. Feel much better, but I'm already sweating. It is steamy out once again. Can't ask for much better than that though. This thing is an absolute ripper. All the late nights in the garage, all the hard work, and I finally got to give it the beans and bang some gears, and it felt absolutely incredible. This car screams. I can't even describe the sound that this thing makes at wide open throttle. It is just vicious, violent, angry. She barks. Big power on the dyno, new steering box, new rag joint, new pitman arm. Got some stuff dialed in. This thing is ready to rip, and I am so excited about it. The steering still feels stiff. I don't know if that's normal with a brand new box. Like, it feels good. The loose steering has always bothered me, but now you so much as touch the wheel and you get a response at the actual tire, which is exactly what I was looking for. Maybe I just need to get used to it. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. That rag joint, does that look correct? I'm not a rag joint expert, but seems to be totally fine. No leaks at either the pressure or return port that I can see. Everything looks good. Oh my God, I need to get out of this garage and jump in a body of water. That's gonna do it for this one, you guys. In the next one, we are going to be getting this thing aligned, doing the final tuning of this suspension. Get the AC charged so that we can stop sweating so much, make this a true 100% street car, and might even get into the rear end a little bit there. Right now, she's an open diff, aka one tire fire, and we gotta be able to do massive burnouts in this thing. With it sounding like that, we can't have one tire fires, so it's gonna be totally drivable, but there's still a couple things left on that whiteboard, but that's gonna be in the next one. Thank you guys as always for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, consider doing so. It's free, doesn't cost you anything. Some guys have been complaining about they subscribe and then YouTube unsubscribes them, so check on that. And hopefully we can keep this channel growing, keep this thing rolling. More lightning content coming, C8 Z06 content, C6 Z06, the Cobra's outside, the AMG's outside. Whew, I got a lot of work to do. Let's get back to it. Catch you guys in the next one.